This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
The recording has started. Hello, friends. Welcome to Super Connectivity. I am your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is that blue-eyed bomber from the Burg of Pits.
Phil me and Perich.
Welcome, Phil. If you scroll down, you can go down and see the Capes and Lunatics. Last episode, we had a very nice tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who sadly passed away literally minutes after we recorded last week, which is just, it just shocked us. It's been a week. We've all been dealing with it, and
it's been a 2020 week.
Yeah, it is just been a week, and you can see our full memorial discussion over on Capes and Lunatics. I encourage you to listen, and just know we here at Super Connectivity, we mourn the loss, and it is a loss that will haunt us, even though the time we had was so short. It's surprising, but that's the world we live. Let's get into something a little lighter. Yeah. The Batman
has COVID.
Well, the Batman does have COVID. So there we go. That's lighter. Oh gods. Yeah. So that's actually something that kind of confuses me, because I thought they were done with the movie.
No,
because they have the trailer. I mean, they're doing the trailer and they don't have the movie done yet.
They started it. I'm trying to remember. I thought someone said they had like 20 or 30% of it filmed, and then COVID shut the filming down. And then they restarted, and Robert Pattinson.
And then Robert gets
COVID. Because I think I saw today. I guess they're still going with just without him.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm sure Batman's not in every scene.
No, because you got Catwoman in this thing, Riddler, Penguin.
Yeah. So anyway, we are all hopeful that both Robert Pattinson and The Rock, a lot of DC superheroes are getting sick right now, and that's man, what's going on with this world, Philip? I don't know, but I did want to talk about the Batman because we do have this trailer, and it is very interesting what we're seeing, especially with regard to the Joker, or not the Joker, with the Riddler. Because we're definitely seemingly setting up Riddler as the villain of this piece. Although we also have Penguin, and we also have the Court of Owls. And from what we've seen in this, we see the Riddler who does not look like any Riddler we've seen before. He's got his face all covered, and it's a very odd look for him, to be fair. And we see him leaving his riddles and his notes as he straight up kills a guy. Which, granted, I'm sure the Riddler has killed in other incarnations, but it is such a ritualistic killing that we see. That it really shocks the senses with what we normally think of with Riddler. We don't think of him as we think of him as an obsessive, but we don't think of him as we don't think of him as a guy ritualistically murdering people. That doesn't seem like the kind of riddles he would normally do. But we do see that he is killing this person, who is presumably a person of note. We are guessing an organized crime. I don't know if that was officially stated that this was some organized boss that he was offing, but I have heard that. But it's definitely someone of import.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of at least a lot of the modern Batman tales, if you do a year one tale, it's all. The theme that keeps coming up is organized crime was having a just having its day in Gotham until the freaks showed up, and then it's like, oh, they took it to another level. And
yeah, well, but the thing is, and this is what I want to get at, is the Riddler is specifically calling out Batman, and the Riddler is specifically leaving clues to Batman. Now, maybe this is our traditional, oh, that's because the Riddler is crazy, and the Riddler does these clue things, and this is his whole shtick and his whole genre and stuff like that. But part of me wonders if there's a deeper story to this, and specifically I wonder whether or not the Riddler is really the villain in this. Because we do know we're going to be getting a Court of Owls story in this.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire plot of the Court of Owls is that these are the hidden power brokers behind Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
And I can imagine a guy like Riddler, who of course sees himself as the super genius, who of course cracks that is this Court of Owls, that they are manipulating things, and probably, felt he should be a part of it. And then I get the feeling, the idea in my mind is he gets rejected by the court. They don't want him. So he decides, well, then I guess I'll just destroy them. And goes about to gather in this loose cannon Batman, who I'm going to imagine. So here are my big predictions. Riddler knows who Batman is. And he's, so he's intentionally bringing him in here because he also wants him to find out about, to tie it into the Waynes and the killings and all these things, because the Riddler is supposed to be the super genius. He is supposed to be connecting all these things. And he's intentionally guiding Batman down this rabbit hole for him. In short, I'm sure with the idea of taking out this Court of Owls so that now he and perhaps the Penguin and others of the freaks, as you said, can sort of move in and take over Gotham. I think that it is going to be this situation where he is definitely a villain, obviously, but that he is going to be portrayed in this with questionable motivations, because everything he's going to be doing is going to be something that is going to be helping Batman solve this crime. And get to who the court is and what they've been doing in the city.
Because I'm pretty sure they said this takes place in like Batman's second year. So it's like, I'm sure they'll probably play it where, like, first year he just faced off with like regular, mobsters and stuff. And it's like, oh no, now we've got this new class of criminal, they're pure evil.
Or are they? That's what I'm saying. It's that's the thing with the Riddler. Is he truly evil in this, or is he just, as we've kind of seen the Riddler? That's the thing about the Riddler. It's like, which is why it's like a little jarring to see him be a cold-blooded killer, because really, we have never seen the Riddler ever as a cold-blooded killer. We've seen him as a cruel jerk. We've seen him as an arrogant fop. We've seen him in a lot of different ways, but, he's never just been the straight-up shoot-a-guy kind of guy, I mean, it's not like he's worried about whether or not people die because of his schemes, but he's also not out there with the intention of just murder. He's not the Joker.
Yeah.
He's the Riddler, not the Joker. And it's interesting what we're going to get. We only have this one short clip, and now we don't know if we're going to have to recast Batman. So it's like, dear Lord, help us. But I'm actually kind of excited about it the more I think about it, because I do like that idea in my head of the Riddler trying to guide Batman towards something for the Riddler's own ends. And I wonder if we might see, like we saw in Gotham, the idea of the Riddler possibly working with the GCPD as a forensic pathologist or some other interesting change of his origins, and this idea of this guy who is trying to do good even as he is contemplating how best to organize crime for the good of all of Gotham.
You know, it was interesting, like in the comics, like I think it was like the mid 2000s, he kind of reformed for a while, and he was kind of like this arrogant, like private detective type.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting if maybe he started out like that, maybe just, you know, he's just like
sort of a Sherlock Holmesian kind of character.
Yeah, but kind of like telling the cops and the Batman, you need my help, this city's going to go down in flames thanks to the court if you don't, work with me.
Well, and it might even be this kind of thing where he realizes this direct approach doesn't work. Like maybe we get a little Edward Nygma scene at the start with him coming to Gordon. No, you see, there's this group, and it's like, oh, you're just rambling on, Nygma. Just stick to what you do, okay? Do your, who's doing these? Give us your background on this bat. Who is this bat person?
I mean,
give us your analysis.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe Riddler's jealous of Batman because that's what people have said about this trailer. It's like, Batman's like, well, it looks like he's doing detective work, which is what we all wanted. But two, and he's in the room with the cops. So even if he's not in an official capacity, it seems like the cops at least respect him enough that, hey, come in and help. So maybe the Riddler gets jealous of Batman, and that's what drives him over the edge.
Yeah, it's, petty jealousy is such a great motivation. Just ask Hawkeye.
No,
but at the same time, I would like to see something different with the Riddler. I've always felt the Riddler has so much potential, but that I don't think anyone ever really gives it the strength it needs. I think that was always one of the things I always liked about Frank Gorshin's Riddler, because Frank Gorshin was the guy who gave us the Riddler suit. The green suit and the purple tie with the question mark. Because somebody said, I don't want to wear the spandex anymore.
Oh yeah,
it looks ridiculous.
You should be listening to Kevin Smith's Hollywood Babylon podcast because right now, because they were doing live shows, him and his co-host, they were doing live shows, but now they really can't do live shows. So his co-host Ralph Garman is like a big expert on like the '66 Batman. So they've been doing commentaries. They'll take a 2-parter, do a commentary on it, do the next 2-parter. But but that's what his co-host was saying. I guess Gorshin, he wasn't a fan of the tights, so he was the one who suggested the suit. So that's why half the time he's wearing the tights and the other half he's wearing the suit. It was like a kind of a compromise between him and the producers.
But you realize that he got something in that because that became so iconic for our Riddlers now. That's the Riddler we think about is the Riddler in the suit, the Riddler who's not, And if you think about it, the Penguin, the Joker.
They all wear suits.
They all wear suits. So why doesn't the Riddler wear a suit? It's like, why should he be the guy who looks like the idiot, like Polka Dot Man? Who of course is in Suicide Squad. That's
a good point. I never realized how many fancy dressers Batman's Rogues Gallery had.
Well, they are fancy men. And speaking of fancy men, we're getting the Penguin in this. So it's interesting. We've got the Penguin and the Riddler, who are probably two of my favorite Batman rogues. And I think in many ways derived from what was done with them in those 60s Batman, where we kind of establish certain ideas about these characters. But that I think feed into this idea that they were really much more traditional criminals. That they weren't the lunatics like the Joker.
Yeah.
They were traditional criminals doing traditional crimes, but with a flair. Yeah. In the same way that Catwoman, there's nothing shocking about Catwoman. She's a cat burglar. But she says, you know what, I'll dress up. It'll be fun. I'm wearing a dark cat suit anyway.
I was going to say, it's dark, blend in, Yeah,
I mean, it's not like they have her in the purple dress. Although, you gotta love a woman that's breaking into second story high rises in a full length purple evening gown. That is
and like high heel boots. Yeah,
that is classic Catwoman. In fact, if they ever do, I don't think we've ever seen that callback where they go to the party and Selena Kyle's in the purple dress. But that would be awesome for this film. I would love to see Selena Kyle infiltrating something in the full-length purple dress. And then, rips out of it, goes into her cat suit, and does all the acrobatics or whatever she has to do while she's there. But it's a glamorous dress. It's not all frilly. It's very sleek. I like that dress. But I like the idea of, and like I really hope Richard Kind's in this somewhere, because as we've said, the joke, the Penguin Richard Kind facial similarity just bespeaks that this has to be that there's something deeper going on here. And for the Cobblepots to be a part of the court, I think is good too.
Oh, yeah.
Or you have just that idea, the other idea, which is that the Cobblepots were, but that when the Cobblepots lost their fortune, they got ousted.
Oh, yeah, because the court's been in Gotham, I'd say, was it like at least 100 or 200 years? Yeah, and like a lot of the modern takes, the Cobblepots are old money, old Gotham money, like the Waynes, yeah. Yeah,
but there was this idea, it's always been this idea to me that it would be neat if, like, one of the Penguins' motivations is the fact that the Cobblepots kind of got screwed over.
Oh, yeah.
By the court, and that maybe that's what we're going to get here is maybe it's Penguin and the Riddler conspiring together, saying, neither one of us can take down the quarters by ourselves, but who could? That crazy nut Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be courting him, but he's probably just nuts enough to just destroy them from the inside. Yeah. So they want to essentially bring, which strikes me as a brilliant idea. And then, of course, they are going to divvy up Gotham as the heads of organized crime in the city, because they're going to knock out the old organized crime. They're going to knock out the Court of Owls, because, of course, you got to think that the Court of Owls and organized crime have to be working together. They have to be in league. So if you take out the Court of Owls, you take out the crime bosses, then it's just pickings for, the super freaks. And
I mean, do you think the court's going to make a full-on appearance in this movie, or are they going to like Thanos it and be like, mention them as this big looming threat, but then they save it for like the next movie? Or
I don't think the Court of Owls really works that well as that big of a threat. I think that's sort of what they want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's a social club for rich weirdos. They may train assassins and but is that any different than just Lex Luthor hiring a bunch of thugs? It's like I never feel so. As an example, I'm doing the rewatch of Peggy Carter with Maz over on Full Stream Ahead, and they have the Arena Club in the second season.
Oh yeah.
And, and these guys are hardcore criminals, but at the same time, their crimes are all white-collar crimes. They're like, we're going to engineer a stock market collapse. We're going to do this, and we're going to control what technology we're going to release when, and, we're going to make sure that, what kind of oil, what kind of energy products do we want to put out there? What's our portfolio going to look like, and what's going to be the most money for us? And to me, that's who the Court of Owls is. Mm-hmm. And anything beyond just that money-making, old money to make more money kind of conspiracy, once you get into, you don't want to get too eyes wide shut with it all,
mm-hmm.
because that's going to be a distraction in your main goal of controlling the city and making money. And maybe that's sort of it. Maybe that's the Court of Owls' thing, is that they've gotten way too eyes wide shut. And that's why Cobblepot and the Riddler are going to knock him off. Now, maybe they, are able to thwart that, and then they get their comeuppance at the hand of the bat. But that, even as they're being taken away, they're saying, you don't understand. They're still out there. And that's how you do build up that Thanosification. And then, maybe throw in a Ra's al Ghul in there. Why not? Why not? Because why wouldn't they? I've never understood if they were supposed to be, they've all got shadows and assassins and leagues of whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I could see there being some crossover there. And I think that would be good. But I like the idea of whatever's happening here, it's intentional, and it is leading to something beyond just the Riddler trying to make it easier for Batman to catch him. I think that if they're going to do this, it's going to be because he's addressing it to the Batman. He wants the Batman's attention. And if he wants the Batman's attention, it's got to be because he wants the Batman to do something. And so I find that an interesting thing. Moving along in the idea of Gotham, I did want to talk a little bit about Harley Quinn.
Yes.
And what we might get in season 3. Because, it's, Gotham, I think it's going to get a season 3. I think the first 2 seasons were very popular.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things pretty much from...
And, and there are some... They tied up the whole thing. So if that was the last Harley Quinn, I don't think we're going to be crying over what happened next.
Yeah.
But I think that there's enough that is there that would be interesting to explore. Like, does the Penguin's nephew become the new Penguin? Which I think is a very real possibility of something they're going to build out in that story, because they did because they do kill the Penguin in this, which is one of those weird things is just, that, oh yeah, they just killed off a lot of people in this. And the idea of this young Cobblepot coming up as the new Penguin makes for an interesting thing, and then makes for another interesting aspect of it with the idea of Harley Quinn keeps on getting these enemies who are teenage boys, which, for what it's worth, probably is its own meta commentary on all the teenage boys who really like Harley Quinn.
Oh, I love the Damian episode. You're my nemesis.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. We got to bring Damian back because he's obviously getting short shrift in the comics.
Oh, yeah. He's no.
And the thing about Damian, I like Damian expressly because he's a brat.
Well, I was going to bring it up, on Capes, what I was thinking? I don't know if it works as well because he is like a 13-year-old boy. I think he's 13 now, a 13-year-old boy. I think they tried to superior Spider-Man him, like attitude-wise, and I don't know if it works with a 13-year-old kid.
No, well, like I said, to me, every time I read him as Teen Titans Go Robin. As this guy who's just very, very confident in his understanding of the world.
I don't think he really understands the world, at least when it comes to social niceties and stuff, because, I mean, he was raised with assassins and, but he was basically raised by Ra's al Ghul and Talia until the age of 10. Batman didn't even know he was alive until they showed up, and he's like, oh, hi, father.
Yes, yeah, and obviously that's an interesting aspect of it, but I do think that they leaned into that type of Robin, that type of arrogant Robin, and this kind of, I'm the best at what I do kind of Robin.
Well, I always joke that he's better with Dick Grayson, but he is, because like when he first became Robin, that's when they all thought Bruce Wayne was dead, and then Dick Grayson became Batman, and the contrast was the opposite, because when Dick Grayson was Robin, you had a more lighthearted Batman, and you had like a darker Robin, so the contrast was the same. It was just reverse.
Yeah, but but I'd like to see more of Damian in that. I'd like to see Damian and a teenage Penguin sort of squaring off. That would be fun for me. I'd love to see Kite Man back. His heart got broke by that, but I'd like to see what he does next. I'd like to see what. Oh gosh, man,
Kite Man, yeah.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't wind up dating Punchline. They got to bring up Punchline now. And just, by the way, like I said, I like that. I love the idea of Punchline going to Arkham. I hope that's not going to be, no, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted her in Arkham because that's part of our big plan for the Joker War. I don't want that. But
it would be funny if they like played her for humor in the Harley Quinn series. Just Harley, the whole episode would be like copyright infringement.
Yes, it would be very funny, and there's lots of things they could do. One of the things I really think they need to do is they need to cross over with Powerless. They need a story where, and it writes itself, is Clayface has to impersonate Van Wayne to break into Wayne Tech.
I don't think I can do it, but I will try.
I will be this Van Wayne.
I am a doctor.
Yes, I will. I just want to. I want to see that, but more to the point, what I really want to see, because if you will recall, Ron, played by Ron Funches in Powerless, was an Atlantean.
Yes,
and Ron Funches is King Shark. And we know in the last episode that King Shark got married, but him and his wife agreed to have an open relationship. I want a whole storyline where King Shark finds out who his wife is opening up her relationship with, and it's Ron from Atlantis. And I want to see a Ron Funches battle between Ron from Powerless and King Shark underwater. Ron using all kinds of crazy Powerless tech, King Shark just using his raw ingenuity, and the two of them just throwing down for the hand of the good girl and of the Hammerhead woman. And I just think that is going to be epic.
And then in the middle of the fight, she just runs off with Black Manta or something.
Her and Kite Man, maybe.
Oh,
or Black Manta. Black Manta's good. Black Manta's good. I mean,
if you want to keep it in the water, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So is Ron Funches typecast as like a sea dweller now?
Apparently, he is. He is an Atlantean. So DC says we need an Atlantean. Well, of course, we need Ron Funches. I'm a little disappointed he was not in the Aquaman movie now.
Seriously, could have did like the voice of like the CGI octopus or something.
Yeah, well, what's the name of the octopus in?
I forget, but that
was it Pongo or something? He would have been a great Pongo.
Right.
Ron Funches, he's awesome. I just think that I think, because here's the thing, I do think Powerless and the Powerless universe and the Harley Quinn universe kind of sync up nicely. They both have really like open secret superheroic worlds and like Legion of Doom kind of stuff where it's very straightforward. We're the Legion of Doom. This is Lex Luthor. This is the whole thing. And I kind of feel like that is a thing where they have the same attitude and the same view of a superheroic world and superheroic bureaucracy.
I mean, I love the whole Lex and the Legion of Doom thing. They'll basically do any evil deed, but they won't work with Dr. Psycho because he uses the C word.
Well, yeah. Well, I think he's also just kind of, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You see what Dr. Psycho's up to. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Psycho is delightful. Just all over the place. I felt that I felt that there was a lot of strength in the stories we got in Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. I very much want to see more of that, and I want to see, like I said, and to me, you got Ron Funches, you got Alan Tudyk, you gotta do something with power. You've got to reference that, and like I say, having Van Wayne show up is just, and then Ron Funches, or not Ron, then Alan Tudyk impersonates him. I do think that is going to be perfect. That is going to be great. How they do that, and it would be awesome.
So you agree with me and Lilith that animated series is better than live action Harley Quinn?
Well, yeah, the live action Harley Quinn was not. Well, okay. The Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey was just that was a DC movie. That it seemed like it was. It came in late. They rushed it together. They just shoved a bunch of scenes in. So that was. It just that film was a mess.
You could tell they put some thought into the animated series.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is what they did is they said, okay, this is a no rules universe.
Yes.
we want to kill the Penguin, we can kill the Penguin.
Mhm.
We want to do this or that or the other, we can do this, this or that or the other.
We want to make Bane a huge joke. We can do that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And they embraced it and they ran with it. And in their own way, they did kind of similar to what Teen Titans Go does for the kid set,
Yeah, but this is more adult. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But they said, we're just going to make jokes about it, and we're going to point out the tropes, and we're going to be silly, and we're going to have fun with it, and nothing matters. Nothing matters, because if nothing matters, then everything is going to be a lot more fun. If we work with it in that, it's going to go places that you don't think it's going to go yet, and we're going to get it there.
Is this the Batcave? This is where you F bats? I don't F bats.
He totally F spats.
Like I said, Margot Robbie's there already, but I would love for them to give Kaylee Cuoco a shot at live action Harley Quinn. She nailed it on the animated side.
I'm sure she'd be great at it, but that's the thing about Harley Quinn. I actually like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to like Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. I love the new Harley Quinn outfit with the pants.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she's finding her own design and her own character. I really felt that was like the worst thing about Harley Quinn and Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey was just that everything was defined in relationship to the Joker, but also in kind of a bad way. I kind of felt.
Well, even the first Suicide Squad. It was the Joker stuff too.
Well, you know what it is in Suicide Squad, yes, but also in Suicide Squad, the Joker actually is shown to be, he goes and he busts her out and he does all the things he says he's going to do.
Well, he's actually shown too.
Yeah. And then when we get to Harley Quinn, there is that, this is my Joker, this is my pudding, and then it's like, well, let's break down what you saw, let's really look at it, let's analyze it, and we actually get the evolution of the character.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, it was, we don't really get much. We get that there was a breakup, the Joker's not even in it.
Mm-hmm.
And and everyone's way too obsessed with them and knows too much of their lore. And I think that didn't work in the live action design,
That's what I said when we reviewed that movie. I'm like, there's too much of that stuff, and they could have taken some of that time and fleshed out some of the other characters more. Like
any of the other characters.
Yeah, Black Canary and Huntress. I wanted to see way more with them.
Yeah, and I still don't know what the whole story is with her. She has a singing power, and okay, that's literally all we got from her.
They could have done so much with her because even in some versions she's like a legacy character. Like her mother was the first Black Canary, and then she's the Black Canary.
And they hint at that.
Yeah,
they hint at that, and then they don't do anything with it. They don't establish anything, and it just it really felt.
They could have did.
It really felt like he had short shrift.
They could have did a whole thing where Montoya was like, "Oh, I remember your mother,"
Yeah. Well, and as people have said, that it would have been cool if it had been the Birds of Prey versus Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Where she's kind of the antagonist, but they didn't want to make her an antagonist. They wanted her to be the protagonist, and I don't know why they want that. It's like being the antagonist. That's still a perfectly good role, but anyway. But we'll see how she does in Suicide Squad.
I think they want Harley Quinn these days, especially in those movies, to kind of be like their Deadpool.
Yeah, you keep on saying that, but I don't know.
I don't agree with it fully either, but I think that's what they want.
Yeah, I don't. First off, it's just, I think that the Kylie Coco Gwenpool show maybe has more of that. Like, if we were to ever get an animated Deadpool series, it might seem a lot like the Harley Quinn series.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not married to the idea that that's. Yeah. That may be what they want to do theoretically in the long term. But I don't know if they are achieving that. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, but so that's Harley Quinn. So that's that is the good and the bad and the ugly of Harley Quinn, and that's like the last thing that DC really has going for it right now, because, you know, as we've said, we've got freaking Batman has COVID, Black Adam has COVID. We're gonna eventually someday get Wonder Woman 84. That's done. That's in the can.
Yep.
I don't know how I don't know what I feel about it, and I have reason to think I'm not gonna like it. You know, I have reason to think that the way they're bringing Steve Trevor back is going to be weird. I think there's going to be a big portion of this where it's going to feel a lot like the Amadeus Cho and Incredible Hercules arc, where the gods were trying to like control man and like create a mirror universe of them where they could control everything. You know, it would be interesting. You know, I've been watching Casually Comics, and they did a whole breakdown of all the different versions of Cheetah over the years, and I kind of liked the Cheetah who was just the woman in the costume. You know, the person who was just kind of a petty lady who got mad at Wonder Woman for getting all of the things. Although I do also like that they're introducing the archaeologist angle to it. You know, but then that makes you wonder if, like, you know, Diana's going to laugh at her because she doesn't understand anything about Amazons. You know, so there's a lot of things that could happen in that. But I was not impressed with the Cat Lady CGI. And that's, in a way, that's kind of where I'm like, you know, maybe they should have gone with the Cat Lady suit, you know?
Again, it was a trailer. It was like 2 seconds. Maybe that was just a bad couple seconds of it. Yeah. I don't know.
I felt the tail looked too fluffy. Maybe, I don't know. And maybe that's a nitpick, but I just...
Or maybe they can clean it up some more before it...
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, hey, I thought Batman was done, but apparently it's like not even a third done yet. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, but, you know, we'll see what's going on with that. It's all a lot. There's a lot of things going out there in the universe. I only have a couple more comics to talk about. I did finish Empyre, which was neat because it kind of really does tie directly into the Fantastic Four book, because literally it has actual panels from one put into the next one. Because you know, we see Spider-Man saying, "Oh, don't get grass stains on my thing," and there is going to be a Fantastic Four Fallout coming after this, so that is going to be interesting.
What do you think the fallout's going to be? Because I thought, because in Empyre, it's number 6, it almost seemed like they were like, "Oh, is one of these Fantastic Four members going to die?" But nobody died, so it's like,
no. I think it's going to be, you know, Reed and Sue retiring, and I think that's part of what the whole thing is like. You know, just turn off all my pain sensors. Turn off everything that would keep me from pushing all the way through. And I think we might get some long-term effects from that. Like maybe she's having, like she's got like, you know, I need to step back for a bit, you know? And I get the feeling it's going to be, you know, maybe Sky and Johnny and Ben and, you know, the kids or something, you know, it's not going to be 4 anymore, or it's going to be something else. Something's going to be in this that's going to be slightly different. It's going to be a change up of the team. Maybe we're going to get Elijah back.
Or do you think maybe Johnny stays in space?
Oh, well, I guess he could, you know. Yeah, why not? Johnny can stay in space.
Like King's bodyguard or something, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then he's got his wife back on Earth with Sky, you know. And
from Earth, she could go with him, you know.
Yeah, that's true too. And maybe that's that. Maybe Sky, you know, maybe it's, you know, Sky and Johnny go off into space. Ben and Alicia.
I was gonna say Sky and Johnny go off into space, and oh no, look who shows up, Elijah.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see what goes on with Elijah. I thought it was interesting in the Fantastic Four, because we do get this thing where, what is it, Nakia, the young Skrull, impersonates Sky.
Yes.
And asks her, you know, she told you a secret. What was it? And Alicia says, "Oh, that's, you know, I promised I wouldn't tell."
Yep.
which was really, really cool that she is keeping this secret, whatever it is. Which gets us all wondering, what was the secret, Because clearly she knew who Alicia Masters was.
Mm-hmm.
But, it makes sense in the sense that if she has every memory of the Skrulls, she has every memory of Elijah.
Mm.
And within that, you have that basically whatever it was that the Skrulls did to have you totally become someone else.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if they gave her actual memories, but I mean, they, when they revealed Elijah, they showed she underwent like all the psychological training, and they taught her basically everything about Alicia.
Yeah, so she knows who Alicia is in that sense, and I find that. So there could be this bond with her in the sense that she knows who Alicia is because she knows who Elijah is because Elijah was Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
And, and maybe for Skrulls, it's a weird thing when you meet who you become,
Mm-hmm.
because becoming someone can be a very intimate process, so I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the Fantastic Four, but I'm certain it's going to be, Reed and Sue are going to retire or step back. And that's the thing. I don't think anyone's like going to be gone, but I think Reed's going to say, let's just sit in the lab. I want to tinker in my lab and you rest. We're just going to be a family with you, me, and the kids, and they're all going to be down there. And then it's maybe Ben's got to form a new team, which would be interesting if it's Ben. If Johnny's out in space and it's just Ben trying to form a new Fantastic Four to go on basic, and basically maybe then it's like, okay, well, look, we're not really superheroes. We're going to be explorers. So let me get people to help me do whatever Reed's going to build for me to fly and do our astronauting. So that's what I'm going to do. And he'll get someone for that. He'll get, Ant-Man, or maybe who knows? Maybe we'll get Sharon Ventura back. Oh, I would love Sharon Ventura back, Good old Sheath. Although, man, I don't know how Elijah's going to feel about, or Alicia's going to feel about that. Bringing your ex back into the picture.
Oh,
yeah. But someone really needs to tell her that, we found a chemical that'll turn you back into human for a day. Because she might want that. You should call. You should write. You should let her know. Yeah.
Oh, hey, you probably didn't read it. Did you read Miles Morales 18?
No, I did not.
I think you would like it. I mean, Miles is fighting like some imposter, but the stuff with they have a bunch of outlawed stuff in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seems like there's agents coming from Miles' parents, and then
I forgot about outlawed.
yeah. But no, at his school, I mean, there's like agents there, like at his school, and they're trying to make all the kids sign a pledge that they pledge to make I pledge to make any administrator aware of any students engaged in so-called superheroics, and and Gank and a bunch of the kids are like, this is crap. No, we're not gonna, so they do like a sit-in, and like,
cool.
I don't think they're even letting the agents out the door, and the agent in charge, she's just like, okay, arrest those kids. She's like, because they even call in some like congresswoman who like is like active in the community, because like the students won't move from the door, so the agent's just like, okay, arrest those kids, Gank and all that. And then she's like, you know what, if the principal or the congresswoman get in our way, arrest them too. So yeah, and then like I said, agents look like they're coming for Miles's parents. So yeah, it's really getting nasty. And Miles,
I mean, that's sounds interesting. You know what book I did pick up this week is, I haven't gotten the chance to read it yet. I picked up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Phil, I'm gonna give you one guess. Why did I pick up this book?
Because you read the other ones.
Well, yes, but I wasn't committed to it 100%, and it's been a while, and I picked this up. Why did I pick it up? It's obvious if you think about it. What was in this book that I said I have to buy it? Who's in this book that said I had to buy it?
Bullseye?
No, I don't follow Bullseye.
Why? Who else had a big part? Oh,
it's not a big part.
Armadillo?
No.
The Rhino.
Fancy Dan.
Oh, Fancy Dan. Yes.
Fancy Dan and Ox.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. So I don't even know if they're in this book at all. I don't even know why they're hanging out with Rhino.
I mean,
Oh, and look,
they're part of the villains hanging out with the Hood, and then Fancy Dan is the last line of the book. So
yeah, and I really want to see, why is Hawkeye one of them now? So I'm excited for this book. I didn't get the chance to read it yet, but I'm going to be reading it this weekend, and I'm excited for Freefall to find out why Hawkeye got the respect of Fancy Dan. So,
do you want me to spoil anything for you?
Yeah, you can spoil some stuff.
Oh, I mean, after last issue, yeah, Bullseye, went out in the Ronin costume, and he's like killing people, and he basically tells Hawkeye, he's like, yeah, the Hood, hired me to, smear the name of Ronin, so you're not gonna be able to use that identity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like, he's gonna, the Hood's gonna reveal to the world that you were Ronin, and then Hawkeye's like, that's all right, because Hawkeye decides to just, I guess, tell everybody, and then oh no, because the Hood's like, he has like a $3 million bounty or something on him, or so yeah, Hawkeye goes to the bank the Hood owns, steals the Hood's $3 million, and then he throws the bag down, and because like all these villains are sitting there with the Hood, and he's like, okay, you guys can split up this money if you just like don't get in the way while me and the Hood go at it. So they're fighting, yeah, and then Hawkeye opens the bag. There's no money in there. There's a bunch of like demons or something in there. Yeah, they take care of like his Hood, his actual like mystical Hood. Hawkeye's like, yeah, I got that from Count Nefaria. He didn't like the way you ended things with his daughter.
There you go.
Without your magic cloak, it turns out you're just another dumbass with delusions of grandeur, just like me.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah,
hey, dumbass, that's my line.
Exactly. Yeah. So Hawkeye takes him down without the Hood. Hawkeye takes him down, and then So and then after the battle, the rest of the crooks show up, and like, was it Tombstone? I think says, "Let's kill him," and Fancy Dan says, "Nah, let him go." Oh no, Ox says, "No, let him go, Ox. He's one of us." He's talking about Hawkeye. He says he's one of us now, even if he doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's interesting. And, Hawkeye started out a villain, man.
So I don't know if this is the last issue, because they kind of. I don't know if it's the end of the book or the end of the arc, because they really don't say anything about being the last issue or not. So
yeah, well, we'll know in a month,
I guess. Yeah,
does have the end at the end of it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe it's like maybe we'll bring it back in a couple of months and see where we go next. Yeah. So I mean, a good week for comics all around, I have to say. I liked what we got. I liked how Empyre ended. I like that. Oh man, that was kind of cool with the door. When the plant thing tries to open up all of the gamma power, and it says, "What is this? What's this door?" Yeah. And then I was a little mad. She comes back as still grunty She-Hulk. I want my old school Jen back.
I knew you were complaining. Oh, magic cure-all fixed it in 2 seconds. I mean, so it wasn't that,
I don't mind. I don't like the idea of the hammer, and especially just that. Well, wait, it's the evil Cody, because I knew the Cody were evil, or the Coati, whatever they call themselves now. I knew they were evil, and so I knew, well, that evil hammer, that can't be good. That she has an evil hammer that's got her brain working. So, but I would like to get classic Jen back. I'd like her to. I'd like to see, maybe let's go to the crossroads of the mind. Let's see how all the Hulks are dealing with inside Jen's mind.
Plus, I don't know if maybe Al, our friend Al Ewing couldn't like fix She-Hulk, because she is in the Avengers book that Jason Aaron's writing. So maybe it's like, I can't mess with Jason Aaron's character over there.
Yeah. Who knows? We're gonna see, because we're getting the Immortal She-Hulk coming soon.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that. I always buy She-Hulk books.
Yeah.
Every time she gets a new one, I always pick them up because I love me some She-Hulk.
And I just wonder if they did the whole thing with dumbing her down just because they want like a classic Hulk, but Immortal Hulk isn't like classic Hulk right now. So
but I don't think she works in the dumbed down version.
I know. I missed the John Byrne. I missed the John Byrne She-Hulk.
Well, I like the fact that they did show that all of that. It's that she can't speak, but her brain is still active.
Yes.
I'd love to see more of that. More of how she is in her head, but she can't communicate. That it's like as they say in the Hulk, it's like looking at the world through a dirty ashtray kind of thing, and I like that. I like that concept. I'm looking forward to whatever they do. Looking forward to Patsy Walker and the new Iron Man coming out next month.
Yes, I think is it this month? Maybe. Yeah,
it's it. Yeah, I actually forgot to tell them to put it on my pull list, but love those Alex Ross covers. You know that I'm a sucker for an Alex Ross cover.
Oh yeah, maybe when we're done, I'll look up the date. I'll let you know what week it's coming out.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a good week for comics. I like that. I like that at least Marvel's coming back strong.
Yes,
I'm loving all my indies that I've been picking up. As I said, I got 3 indies this week from Dark Horse, IDW, and Image. So I'm feeling the comic book rebirth. I'm feeling the comic book renaissance. It was hard going through COVID, but I'm glad we're back now. And yeah, and that's about all I got. Phil, you got anything else you want to talk about this week?
No, I think that's it. I think
I think we got enough. And so Philip, I know you and I were both wearing headphones. I don't think either of us are actually wearing Tweaked Audio headphones. But they are a sponsor of the show, and they do make high-quality headphones.
Yeah.
Sound cheap. These are actually my work headphones. I didn't have to pay for them. That is literally why I use them, because they basically use all my stuff from work that I just brought home, and I just use that for my podcasting, because why should I invest money in podcasting? But you're listening to this, you may want to invest in better headphones, and if you do, you don't even have to invest that much, because you can go to tweakedaudio.com, use the coupon code Southgate to save money on what you buy. Likewise, if you're looking for something else to get a deal on, you can go over to huntakiller.com, where Michelle Gray needs your help to solve a cold case, get that escape room delivered to your house once a month, and use the coupon code Southgate to not pay too much for that either. Scroll down to where things, click on the Amazon link, go to Amazon. There you can buy Pod Life, the book, written by the good folks at Southgate Media, and anything else your heart's desire. It's not going to cost you a dime. Helps us out a bit. And if anyone does anything like that and they'd like to talk to you about their purchases or just talk to you about anything, how can they do that, Phil?
The easiest way to get a hold of me or anybody else, email capesandlunatics@gmail.com or the voicemail 614-382-2737. And we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Get to our links at
Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. Yeah, all the links are right there.
All of them. So that saves you some time.
Yeah.
Anyway, and hey, if you want to write to me in that old-fashioned email way where Maz and Posbins did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I look for something to live tweet. Maybe it's going to be Amphibia. I don't know yet. At Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle. For what, Maz?
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for listening to Super Connectivity. Please super connect with us again next week. And always remember, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Beautiful stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This second, just we're doing the outro music. Good night.